Hi there, my name's Aaron Short, and Happy New Year! Oh yeah. Today is January the 3rd, 2022, and it's great to see everyone here in the chat today. As always, I appreciate you spending your time with us. Today's viewers comment of the week will be from Roeth, and Roeth is here, so stay tuned for that. That's coming up shortly. But before that, let's bring on today's guest. It's Maury Rich. How you doing, Maury?
I'm doing great. I haven't seen you since last year.
I used that joke last week, and I got the kind of dad joke comments, you know. See you next year. Hang on, where am I here? There we go.
These are dad jokes, if you guys aren't watching.
Hey, was it the day before New Year's Day? Or New Year's Eve, it should be. See you next year. That's not really... Yeah, that's that pause there, that silence we just both felt, even though it's a live stream, is exactly what happened when I said that. So...
Yeah.
And then I saw you repeat the joke on your social medias.
Hey, you're not here for the comedy, and if you are, that's not our fault.
Here we go. See you next year. Yeah, that'd be better.
Better.
So talk about New Year's Eve. Tell me, how did you spend your New Year's Eve? Which Martin guitar were you snuggled up to?
Wow, I didn't know I'd be put on the spot. I'm going to be showing my age. And I'm going to be maybe at risk of, I don't know who's in the chat, but I bet you I might be the lamest person here for New Year's Eve. I struggled as hard as I could to stay awake until midnight to see the ball drop. I wasn't with my guitar. I was with my honey. We were on the couch watching some TV, trying to watch some holiday type things. I really took the whole weekend and the opportunity to really just chillax. And by New Year's Eve night, you know, after 9 o'clock, 9:30, I started getting texts from friends and family. Hey, I'm not sure I'm going to be awake at midnight, so I want to say Happy New Year right now. And I'm texting them back. I'm not sure I'm going to be awake at 9:30, so I didn't live it up like some people do, but I'm very blessed and grateful to have made it through that, and I'm looking forward to a good 2022. What did you guys do?
Well, I live in New York, but I watched the footage of Times Square from the comfort of the couch. Because who wants to go into Manhattan right now? Right?
How far are you from that action?
30-minute subway drive, hour walk, pretty close. But yeah, I've never been there. You know, I got asked to play in Manhattan, but it's like right now things are crazy. Actually, but that was before things got even crazier than they did recently. But Manhattan gigs are not fun. The first year I moved here, I did a Manhattan gig, and I didn't know anything about it. So I had no amp. It was a band trio gig. So I went uptown and borrowed an amp, and I brought it back down. And then I also had my small AER amp, I think, as a PA system. So I had this, at least one really heavy amp to carry. And the drummer told me you have to go a certain entrance to get through. And I didn't really understand what he meant. Because what they do is they block off all the streets, right? There's only certain access points where the cops can take your ID, and you have to have this special permit to go into Times Square. You have to get one from the restaurant that you're dining at or working at. So I had the permit, and I got off at any train station thinking I can just walk through, and I was right there. I could see it, stone's throw from me, this venue. And they said, no, this is blocked. You have to walk all the way around Times Square. So I carried this amp all the way, and I was late for the gig. I'd been early, but I was late because I had to walk around. The cops wanted to see what was in this bag, in this amp. Like, is there something in the amp? You know, I had to show them the amp and everything. Got even more delayed, and then got there, and I was late because I didn't understand how any of that stuff worked. So now when I get a call to play in Manhattan for New Year's Eve, I'm always like, well... You know, do I have to drive in there? Do I have to get a permit? Do I have to take the stuff the night before? So I didn't play, but I played the night before that, so that's fine.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, it was good. Actually, I watched the second year running Rick Beato. He does a New Year's Eve live stream.
Oh.
And he's a really interesting guy, and he had some good guests on as well. And there was a few of them that do a lot of YouTube videos, and they were talking about how the three of them will bounce ideas off each other, how they'll test titles and thumbnails between each other, and I found that really interesting to hear all that stuff. So he's cool. So I enjoyed that, and then I couldn't believe it. I'm sitting there with my phone on New Year's Eve, and Cole Clark announced a new preamp for their guitars, and I'm like, who releases a new product on New Year's Eve? I thought it was actually kind of cool. I guess it would have been New Year's Day for them, right? But even then, it was a Saturday, right? I'm so out of touch right now. It would have been a Saturday. it just seems so weird to post that video and make that video live at that time. But I was really excited, like a new preamp. I'm already a fan of the Cole Clark systems, and they've made a new one. I always get a bit nervous because you always wonder, like, will I like the new system as much as the old system? Like when Martin went from the F1 Plus to the what do you call it? The blend? Not the blend.
The enhance.
Enhance, yeah. Like when they went from that to that, some people were saying, "Oh no, I want the old system." But I think Cole Clark have just made a few tweaks, and there's even a button to kind of give you the old sound back again. So they've tried to cater, and there's something you can just remove. And I've got to say that's really cool what they've done, because they're actually sending those out to customers that bought a guitar already for free, which I've never heard of before. I think that's really cool. So they're sending me one. They're sending me one from Australia. I'm going to install it in my Cole Clark and do a comparison on that next month. So that's cool. So yeah, that was very exciting for me. That was a great New Year's Eve for me, hearing about new gear. Yeah. And I think 2022. I should have known,
because I wish you Happy New Year in a text, and you wished me a Happy New Gear. But he's not even taking a day off from feeling like that. He's gear all the time. I
know. I think 2022, I think is going to be a good time for the gear, and I think I'm excited to report on it. So we'll see what happens. Nice. We got to go to the chat because I've got to say hi to all our friends. We got Roslyn here. Hi, Roslyn. Happy New Gear. I mean, New Year. Chaz is here. Hi, guys. Jack Wickwire. 5 to 6 inches of snow here in Maryland today. That's enough to shut this place down. Yeah, it's really cold here. It's 28 here. You go outside with no hat on, your ears are about to drop off. And I notice it's really dry as well. So just one more time, if you are not humidifying, you need to humidify right now if you live in places like I do, because it's really dry and really cold. Oh, great. I'm planning to have professional guitar lessons soon, says Chazza. That's excellent. So I guess that's why you didn't call us for lessons, right? You're going to get a professional? No problem.
I think he's too smart to call me.
Oh, David. Now, I saw something about this on another channel. It says, I was hoping you would start with the Modern Deluxe with the announcement of the additions to the line. I did see that. I think that's an early announcement. And I'm hoping as soon as Maury gets some of these, we'll feature them on the Monday show and talk about them in more detail. But for today, we will talk about the older. They're so 2019 now, these ones. But we'll feature one of them as well. But yeah, I saw that. And again, more gear. I just saw some Ibanez stuff announced. I'm personally excited to see if we get new gear from Line 6 or Kemper and LR Bags. Are they going to make more of these acoustic guitar products? I'm excited for this year. Even though there's no NAMM in January, I think we're going to see lots of gradual releases. And I'm excited to talk about it on this channel. So Roeth is here. You are our featured artist of the week, Roeth. Thanks for the video you sent us. Appreciate it. So get ready for that later on. And David Belcher says hi to Roeth. And Rosanna says hi, Aaron, Maureen, everyone in the chat. Isn't it great to have Rosanna back again? We missed her, right? For 2 weeks.
That was a long vacation.
There's Lee as well, but, good to see him as well. Sorry, buddy. I'm just kidding. I'm just pulling your chain. Ouch. Kookie says, Happy New Year, everybody. Hi, Kookie. I saw your video that you posted the other day on IRs. That was cool. He's still working on his process. Stephen is here. Good to see you. Lee gives us a thumbs up. Give us a real thumbs up on the YouTube channel, please. Chris Smith says, watching from Florida. Cold snap today. Cold in Florida. Wow. It must be cold then. 64 and sunny. Oh, 64? You're not going to survive that if you're not used to it.
Poor guy.
Vic G says, hi, Maury. Hi, Aaron. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to everyone. 2022 is a good number, I think. I'm floating in a dark void in 2022. Well, I guess I am, but then sometimes I just want to go to the beach, Oh, it's so hot. Oh, I'm in Florida now. So, I've just confused everybody now. Ken says, Happy New Year's with a thumbs up.
What's up, Kenny?
Lee said, so last night I used a black screen as well, and Lee said I look like a mastermind contestant. I keep switching between my two accents. Mastermind. I'll say mastermind because it's a British show. And they used to have contestants with just a black screen behind them. So he was talking about that. I would not be on Mastermind unless it's about IR impulse responses. Colin Butters, Happy New Year from the UK. Great to see UK here. He said, Aaron, what is your specialist subject? Sound holes. Sound holes, of course. Right?
Of course.
I know everything about smelling Martin guitar sound holes. They're saying hi. Jim says, Happy New Year, Lee and Roeth. Lisa, good to see you. Says hi to everybody. Never know how to say your name. Alestev. Alestev? Alestev, 24. Happy New Year from... Oh, Alex. There we go. That's easy. Hi, Alex in Vienna, Austria. I'm constantly switching between channels so both of you get views. Yeah, we are restreaming. So please subscribe to Maury's Music and Aaron Trott Music on YouTube. And I think I'll just give you a little tip. I don't think Maury's chat is coming through on my software. So if you want to actively engage in the chat, I will check it on YouTube, but it'd be easier for you to be on my channel. I'm not just saying that to get more views either. It's just the truth. Maury doesn't believe me. Lee says, same to you, Jim. Charlerism says, greetings from North Georgia. It's a cold 78. Oh, but 30 this morning. There you go. It's 28 here. Yeah. Rosin, I saw a snowstorm in Georgia on the news. Yeah, the snow is on its way. Hi, Aaron, Maury, everyone in the chat. Rosanna, Matthew Carver, hello, 2022. We've got a lot of guitar playing over the holidays. That's great. And if you get to the stage where you've mastered the piece, or even not, and want to send it to us, I'll just put that address on the screen. Say hi at aaronshortmusic.com. We'd love to play some more videos on the viewers' comment section. Jim says, we need the snow here in Vermont. Send it to us. Only 2 inches of snow on the ground. Oh, you want it? Crazy. I don't want it here. I've got to shovel the car. I remember last year when Maury and I were texting each other, we were both shoveling cars. In fact, I remember really clearly, I was about to watch Maury's Thursday show on Facebook, and I had to go and shovel the car for like an hour. It's a great workout, though. Roa says, any new Sandhole Sniffer merch expected for 2022? So the truth is, Roa, I need more merch because it's great to have for the channel and to make some, make more revenue for the channel. I need to do it, and also to keep it fresh as well. I was just telling Maury, Paul Reed Smith has this quote that if you don't release new products, you die. That's in relation to gear, right? So every year we get new Martin models, don't we? Every company releases a new update or a new refresh thing. So I need to refresh the Soundhole Sniffer merchandise as well. Now I deliberately called that the original. That's Soundhole Sniffer original. That's going to be my classic design. But I want to make some more as well, or even just some other things, some other designs with something else on it. I want to keep having new stuff on the channel. But I remember when I designed that one, I didn't design it. I had someone design it for me. But even then, it took me like a month of constant back and forth to get that one done. So I'm going to do it, but it's not my priority, is the honest answer. My priority right now is to keep making videos and all that kind of stuff. But I will do some, definitely. David Belcher says, Aaron Sniffy Short. Don't think I like that, David. Pooh Ninja says, Happy New Year. Airy bodies. Right, so today is very casual again. I'm gonna get rid of this beach because I feel like it's a lie. Let's see. Shall I go to aha, I'm in the castle there. How about this one? Whoa, trippy. I bet I have that. Let's just do transparent. There we go. Now I'm at Maury's Music.
Tron?
Yeah, Tron, yeah. So, a few things on the agenda today. I'm going to talk a little bit about the video I posted comparing Australian tone woods, American tone woods, and carbon fiber. I want to promote that a bit and ask you all to go and put your thoughts on that video later on. And Maury has grabbed 2 guitars to show us today. So what's the guitar you're holding in your hand, Maury?
Well, right here I have the D18 Modern Deluxe. The serial number ends in 687. This might have made an appearance fairly recently on Virtual Tour, but here we have a solid Sitka spruce top with VTS, their Torrefaction. We have solid mahogany back and sides, and the Modern Deluxe series gets things like the gold tuners, gold Evo fret wire, liquid metal bridge pins, the smaller truss rod that used to be titanium if you get one of the earliest versions, but they quickly switched to steel. So it's still a smaller, lighter truss rod than a regular Martin D18 would have. And I think the biggest not surprise, but upgrade besides the VTS top is that the bridge plate is a piece of carbon fiber.
There we go. Great segue.
Yeah, see? It's carbon fiber on both sides of a piece of VTS Adirondack. So the braces are Adirondack, they're VTS City with protein glue. And the entire idea behind the Modern Deluxe in general is to make an older sounding, seasoned instrument that if you would take a D18 from 50 or 60 years ago and play it now, that's what this guitar is supposed to sound like. And it's across, different sizes and models in the line. But the Modern Deluxe series really is a supercharged version of its counterpart from the Standard series. Whether you like it more or not is entirely up to you, but that's the guitar that I'm playing first here on the show. And
actually, you asked me if there's a guitar I wanted to check out, and I said an authentic, because I'm looking at D28 Authentics right now, and you've got a D18 Authentic, and that's a D18 Modern Deluxe, right? So I don't think we planned this, but this will be actually really interesting. Perhaps we can, during the show, we can compare the two, because the Authentic is built like the real old Martins that we all see in the vintage stores that are thousands and thousands of dollars, right? And then the Modern Deluxe is kind of hinting at that, but it's as in the name suggests, it's the modern version with the carbon fiber and the new bridge pins and everything, playability and all that stuff. So I think it'll be really interesting to compare those two guitars. I think I'm going to add that to the agenda for today, to play those two back to back. I might even cover you up and get our friends to say which one they prefer. In fact, why don't we start with that? Because otherwise we'll all hear what it sounds like. I guess we have a little bit already, but we've been talking for a while. So I think I'm going to start with that. Can I cover you up and you play the two, and we'll ask the chat which one they think is which, and then we'll go into some more detail. This is completely off the cuff, but I think it'll be a cool comparison to do. So where is the screen here? Maury Solo. And we take my address off the screen, and let me just cover the screen here. Oh, unlock. 1 second. Perfect. All right. So, yeah, why don't you mix them up there so we don't know which one you're holding. Okay. And if you can play the same thing on both guitars, one after the other, I'll ask the chat right now which one you think is which. So one will be the Modern Deluxe and one will be the Authentic. Let's see if we can tell just by listening. I think this will be a cool way to start the show.
All right. Which one shall I pick? I ask myself. Guitar number 1. Number 2.
Okay, so we've got the Authentic and the Modern Deluxe. And I want you to say which one you think is which and which one you prefer. I always forget to say that. Which one do you think is which, but also which one do you prefer? I think I know exactly which one is which. I always say this, and I don't know, I'm still trying to get my mind around this. I always think the VTS makes it not as bright. And for that reason, I think the second one is definitely the Modern Deluxe. Because to me, that didn't sound as bright as the first one. I really like the sound of the first one a lot. And I hope I'm wrong, Maury, because then I haven't got to buy an authentic in the future. It'd be great if I'm wrong. I don't really care either way. Let me know in the chat what you think, and then we will give the result. Yeah, no, I hear that a lot. I've heard that with a few guitars that have VTS. They just, I mean, maybe you want that sound, that warmer sound, but they just seem to, they don't have the bite in the high end, which is why I came to that conclusion. I hope. Oh no, but they both have VTS, right?
Yeah.
They do. Ah, well, I'm still going to stick with that answer because that's still a feeling I've had in the past. But this will be really interesting then. Okay, they both have VTS.
One's VTS Sitka though.
Ah. Okay, that's just thrown me. Well, I'm going to stick with that gut feeling, and we'll see. Okay, he's laughing. I think I'm right. See, it's stressful. See, that's why people say these comparisons are stressful, because we think, oh, are we right? Am I wrong? I don't really care.
I think it's kind of fun though, because every Monday I've got a little bit of an opportunity to sell Aaron a guitar.
It'll be funny if I'm the other way around. Yeah. Let's see what people are saying here. Ken says 2 is Modern Deluxe, so Ken agrees with me. Lee says number 1 is Modern Deluxe, so he doesn't agree with me. Mark says hard to tell. I tell you what, they do sound quite different, even though they're both D18s. They sound very different to me. Number 2 has more sustain. 2 is Modern Deluxe, fuller sounding. Lisa loves number 1. Yeah, number 1 was my favorite. I'm quite excited actually to see what the answer is. Chazza likes both. Yeah, 2 wasn't my preference, to be honest. 1 really rang out this kind of sound that I like. But that's good that you like both. You can just buy both, Chazza. That's great. Ken says you get both. Maury will throw in a free Maury's Music calendar or pen. Ken says I prefer number 2. Sounds fuller. Matthew says my guess is 2 is the authentic. It sounds deeper. I like both, but give the authentic a slight edge, at least through my speakers. Yeah, always try to wear decent headphones if you can, or speakers. Yeah, I always think the iPhone's not the best way to listen. S. Willis is going with my answer. Second sounded darker. I agree, Roeth. So he thinks that'll be the authentic. Interesting. Rosanna, I preferred the sound of number 1. Yeah, me too. Sitka has to be brighter. That's Modern Deluxe. Hang on. So the Modern Deluxe has a Sitka top and the authentic has an Addy top, right?
Yes, and they're both VTS.
Right. And I would assume the Addy would be a bit brighter. So I'm still going to stick with my answer. Mark Henry prefers number 1. I'm going to say number 2 is Modern Deluxe. So you agree with me as well. And Rosin liked the first one. So I think, yeah, okay. So a few people agreeing with me and liking the first one. And a few people not, so this will be fun. And T prefers number 1 as well. Okay, let me just go back up here, make sure I got everything. So I'm going to, when this chat message disappears, I'm going to reveal Maury. Hopefully he's fully dressed. And we will see what guitar it is. Where's my drum roll? Drum roll, drum roll. Where is it? There it is. Okay. T, I'm going to have to hide your comment. Okay, so here we go. So you're holding guitar number 2, right?
To be careful, I'm holding my own guitar in case you weren't going to cover me up, but I can hold the second if you want me to.
Oh, I'll just do a drum roll. Okay, I'll unhide you then. We'll just do the drum roll and you can tell me which one was number 2. All right. I
was being proactive and careful.
Very cool. Yeah, I didn't even see you do that. You should use magic tricks or something. All right, are you ready? So.
Yes.
Guitar number 2 was
the Modern Deluxe.
Yes! Woo!
He's too excited.
Oh, I'm so happy. And that just reconfirms that, oh, you just cost me $8,000. Okay, fine. Anyway, no, it did sound great, the first one. And, yeah, that's cool. Wow. Sorry, I got a bit carried away there.
That's good.
Let me come back
You
up the
got so
chat.
excited you played the medieval times sound. That was pretty cool.
That's the fanfare.
Yeah.
I've only got a few sounds here. I need more. And then you get more and you can't find the one you're looking for. That's the problem.
I think you got just enough, but I just like that one a lot. And
Oh, level up, because I got it right. I leveled up with the Martin knowledge. I just leveled up.
that's good too.
Old says,
you're bringing
Happy
it
New
today.
Year. Oh, Roa says, my video was interesting. We'll talk about that in a second. Depending on the answer, it may get me interested in the carbon guitar. Well, Roa, I tell you what, if you think that the carbon is the Martin, or the Martin... Oh, Ricky, thank you for subscribing. Roa, if you get it wrong and you think that the carbon is the Martin, then you have to then go out and buy a carbon guitar, okay?
Yeah.
So don't blame me. I need to have women's shirts, preferably the baseball style with elbow-length sleeves with your Sandhole Sniffer logo. Yeah, the problem is that Teespring are good because they can integrate on your channel, but they don't have a lot of different options for products, I find. So I thought about looking elsewhere at other companies, but like I said, they won't integrate onto the channel. So I'm not sure. I'll see about that. Let's move this out of the way. Thank you for subscribing, Ricky. I appreciate it. Because I'd like to have like bigger mugs as well. I usually use big mugs, and this is a cup. So I'd like to have a bigger mug and some other things that they don't do. Yeah, I'll look into it. S. Willis says, hi everybody. Chris Smith wants a view of the vintage neck. We'll check that out soon, because I want to see that. You were right the first time. The Modern Deluxe bracing is VTS. And by the way, the guitar he's holding is not the authentic. That's authentically ruined by Maury himself. Right, I shouldn't say I shouldn't say ruined. I should say relics, right? Ruched. Is that no? What's that? That's the Modern Deluxe. Oh my goodness, Olds! I never thought I would, but I sold my OM28 Modern Deluxe and kept my used 2008 OMC 28E. Thought I'd be crying, but don't miss it. Okay, well that's good.
Wow.
The question is, what are you going to buy next with that money? The Sitka has to be brighter. That's Modern Deluxe, right? Hang on, I'll go past those. Yeah, that's right. Can't fool New Yorker. That's right. Can't fool me. See, it's the little things that make me happy, says Jim. That's right. It is little. I am. I'm very proud of myself. Just tuning in. What guitar is Maury holding? Looks beautiful. Well, now we're confused. He's got 3 guitars going around there. So this one is the Modern Deluxe. The one he just had is the Ruched guitar. That's his own personal guitar, the OM. And then the other guitar will be the authentic that we'll check out next. I agree, Aaron. If the one I thought was a Martin turns out to be carbon, looks like I'll have to get a Rainstock. Tell them I sent you, Roeth, because they're good friends of mine. Chris Smith, how about t-shirts that say Addy and Sitka? Those are tops, after all. Very clever. Yes. I still want to do the V-neck one. I don't like V-neck shirts, but I want to make a V-neck t-shirt that says I hate V-necks. And then people will say, well, why are you wearing a V-neck? And I say, oh no, I mean the guitars. That's if I have no other ideas, then I'll do that one next. Olds wants to buy a custom 0018 or 0015M with a mod V-neck. Well, there we go. So Olds likes V-necks. Hi CGD GCD. Hi Aaron Morinall. Good to see you. Very cool. Very cool. All right, let me just take a break from the chat for a second to say, don't forget to subscribe to both our channels. And let's take a close look. Just remind us quickly then. Well, you already have done, but the Modern Deluxe Sitka top, it's got the VTS, and this has not got a pickup, right? This is the acoustic version?
Correct.
Okay. All right. So this will be interesting. Play something on it again if you wouldn't mind, and I'll see, because when you play these things back to back, sometimes it makes the other one sound quite different. Let's hear this one just in isolation there. It'd be interesting to hear it by itself. Actually, I just noticed now all the chats are coming through on Ecamm Live, so it doesn't matter where you're watching from. In the start of the stream, they weren't, but now everything comes through, which I think is really cool.
Ah,
It's really cool.
nice.
It brings all the chats together. Excellent. Yeah, you see what I mean? When you just play that by itself, I never would have said it didn't sound as bright or sounded vintage, but when you compare it directly to the other one, that's when I hear the differences. And that's always been a problem with me with comparing things, because if one is overly bright, it will make the other one sound overly dark. So that is something you got to watch out when you compare stuff. But it definitely has more of that vintage sound, I think, to my ear. I know some people like that. To some people, that is the Martin tone, right? But interesting that the actual authentic, which is based upon an actual 30, is that 37 you've got there, the D18 authentic? Interesting that it's got a brighter.
No,
So
30, maybe 39.
39. So why is it got a brighter sound? What do you think it is? I mean, obviously it's a factor of lots of things, but do you think it's the Addy top, the bridge pins? And when I reviewed these bridge pins for you, they had they brought out more low end. So obviously when you get more low end, you get a warmer sound. Do you think there's anything in particular that makes that sound so warm, or is it just a sum of the parts?
I think it's the hide glue. I think it's the fact that it's Sitka, and I think on paper the Adirondack topped 39 authentic age should be a brighter instrument, because the things that are in this guitar that aren't the same are probably contributing, like you said, to bass. I think it's a bassier set of bridge pins. I think the 39 authentic age should just be a brighter instrument back to back on paper, but again, that's really relative.
Yeah, and of course all guitars are different, but yeah, let me know in the chat. Let me know what you think. Which one do you prefer the tone of? I know when we did it hidden, a lot of people said they liked the tone of the first guitar, which was the authentic, and I agree. But I know there's people watching that will like that tone. Roeth made a comment about the tone of that guitar, and I feel like he would like that. And it also depends as well if you're finger picking or strumming as well. All these things. Chazza says it sounds relaxing. I think that's just Maury's playing, Chazza. Yeah, Roeth said beautiful tone. And Ken says, I hear overtones on that guitar similar to Rosewood. Just me, maybe.
Ooh.
Interesting. I mean, there's a lot of different things with these modern Lux guitars, right? They're not like your standard D18. There's so many things that are different with the construction. And also the neck. You know, we talk a lot about V-necks, but these necks are quite thin, aren't they? These are a thinner neck. So to some people, that might be too thin, but it's definitely more of a modern neck.
This neck is actually the opposite of a V-neck. This is really in danger of being too thin and too skinny for some tastes.
Yeah. I did feel that as well. It's a lot to readjust to. You can definitely go the other way as well, with it being a thin neck. I wonder actually who in the chat would like that neck. I'm wondering, does anyone in the chat own a modern deluxe? That'd be really useful info to know. And what do you think of them in general? Alex says, do the V-neck shirt, please. I like it. Yeah, that was you that said no V-necks. A shirt with no V-necks was your idea. That's right, it was your idea. That's why it's in my head. But you made it a brilliant idea with adding the thought of doing it on a shirt with a V-neck. Exactly. That's what I thought. Because everyone's going to say, if you don't like V-necks, then why have you got the shirt? But maybe I'd say I hate V-necks, and it would also have like a guitar in there somewhere as well. Okay, so well, hang on. Something's happening. Hang on. What? Oh my goodness! What's going on? Hang on, this is great. Woo! Come back. Hang on.
That's so funny that you felt that happening. That was so realistic.
Maury's like, what's going on? I can just tell when we do this, Maury's on edge. He's like, what's Aaron going to do next? You know? He's worried. This is funny. Look, CGD GCD says, Maury usually plays the name. He's saying that you always play CGD GCD.
I started to, but then you were talking and I couldn't see it. I have to look at it when I do it, because it's so small on my screen.
CGD GCD. Yeah.
That's hard to do.
Addy is always brighter than Sitka, says Ken. I think the Addy with the VTS is a nice combination for that reason then, because you get the best of both. Old says, Roeth, I know the 0018 can be ordered with a hog top, at least on the Martin Create Your Own Custom webpage. Yes, an all mahogany guitar. They can be interesting. What were they talking about? I missed something here. I was not sure you can order a custom 15 series anymore. Can you order a custom 15 series these days?
Not literally, because they won't make it. They won't do a custom shop with a simple dovetail anymore. You'd have to be starting with the 0018. So that because the 15 series has simple dovetail, you can't do that in the custom shop. But you can do a dovetail instrument that arrives at the specs being a 15 series when it's all done, except for the neck being dovetail, and that brings the price up.
And he said, all mahogany 0018 would be nice. And then Rose says, yeah, it'd be a workaround. True. And now they're daring each other to order custom guitars. I have no part of this. Jim says, Rose.
That's how guitars get ordered here, though. We talk after the show, and then 6 months later, the baby comes out of the oven.
Rose, all Singer Hog 0018. I dare you. Have you ever had one of those in the store? Did you ever order that yourself?
No, we've never done anything that started with a standard series and arrived backwards at a lower series like a 15 or a 17. The last time we were going to do that, one of our customers ordered a jumbo version of the 000, which was it? It was a jumbo version of the D17 Whiskey Sunset. And it was amazing. So we got the paperwork started to go and do that. And then right at that time, Martin said, listen, we just made a change. You can't order a 17 series custom shop. You'd have to do a D18 or a 0018 and go backwards. And that kind of tripped us up because the price would have been a lot different.
That's good to know. Alex says, over Christmas, I played a bit for my girlfriend and my parents on my D35, GPC PA4, and 0015M. All three thought the sound of the 0015M blew the other two away, at least in the living room.
Wow.
Interesting. I mean, I can see that. The smaller body and the mahogany. Some people just gravitate to that sound. That's the sound they say, they feel sounds the best. So I get that.
That's cool.
Interesting over the D35, though. But yeah, it's cool. Did you also do the blindfold test with them then? They couldn't see the guitar. It's Christmas. Shall we play a game? Oh yeah, what? Monopoly? Scrabble? Oh no. I'm going to blindfold you all, and you're going to tell me which one sounds the best. Oh, not that one again, they said. Rova said, that's such an expensive dare. Come on then, Rova, you're going to do it? Come on, you can do it. No, I'm not recommending you do that. Elhan, when Martin says select hardwood for guitar next, what does that mean exactly? Let's let Maury answer this one, because I don't want to.
That gives Martin the opportunity to use either cedar or mahogany, depending on what they have on hand at the time. So if you don't specify that you want a 12/4 mahogany neck, when it comes time to build your guitar and they're allowed to use select hardwood, they might still give you a mahogany neck because there was enough in stock. But if they have to dip into their cedar, that means you can get either cedar or mahogany. And there are times, Andrew's in charge of customs here, but he'll talk to Jimmy, one of our custom shop reps, and it'll be a situation where he'll say things like, listen, these days, if you order a custom right now, the way things are looking, anybody who gets a custom is going to get the mahogany neck. And conversely, he might say, listen, we're doing cedar now for a long time. So that's what that means. It gives them the out to be able to use whatever they have.
Select hardwood, yep. Ken's got a question. Can you order a 0018 in Sinker mahogany?
Absolutely. We have, I think.
There's that old Sinker again. I've got to look into that one these days. Sinker mahogany. Lee is waiting for a guitar he's ordered. An Addy top mahogany D42 style. Wow, he kept that secret, Lee. That's
cool.
Wow. What about the guitar you bought last week where he said it may or may not show up in the mail? I want to know about that guitar. Remember that?
Maybe it's that one.
He said he bought a guitar from eBay. Oh, yeah, maybe it's that one. Okay, let us know more info on that. If Tesla stock keeps popping up, I might consider a custom for my 70th. I think it will, Jim. I think you'll be good. Those Teslas are doing. Hey, Maury, did you get a Tesla yet?
I've had a couple. They're really fun.
There's nowhere to charge them where you live. That's the problem.
I know.
Roeth's got gas for an all-hog guitar. Now I need an all-carbon and an all-hog. Oh, dear. Kevin C. Yeah, get them both, Roeth, and then make us a comparison video, and I'll put it on my channel.
Yeah.
Kevin C. says, just got a 2016 Dreadnought Junior. Impressed by how powerful and rich it sounds. Any tips on how to clean the hand-rubbed oil finish? There's deodorant, antiperspirant residue from the last owner. Ooh. First of all, Maury, can you still get those guitars, the Dread Juniors?
Some of them. I know that the entire lineup isn't active anymore, but some of them are still there. And I don't know about the cleaning question. I've never run into that. There must be a good, safe way to do it, but I highly recommend contacting Martin directly. That's not something you want to play with, and then you might be in a situation where it's even worse. But maybe if it wasn't more than just regular, dirt and grime, I might have said like a soft cloth and warm water, but I don't really know.
I think years ago, someone said that Taylor make a polish for unfinished guitars, if I remember correctly. So maybe look at that or ask Martin what they recommend. I think when I've cleaned guitars like that, I've just used a very slightly damp guitar polishing cloth. You want to be careful with that stuff. You're exactly right. Don't make it worse. But Alex says no blindfolds were used in that Christmas day.
What about a big black screen?
Black screen? What do you mean? I've moved to a dungeon. This is a guitar dungeon.
No, the one you put on me, like when I'm.
Oh, that one. Yeah. I thought you were implying this isn't an actual black wall behind me.
I was not.
This is clearly magic. Look, let me go somewhere else. When I feel like doing some work, I just come here to the office. It's just been renovating here. I lost my place now. Oh, Rosin says that sounds amazing, Lee. Yeah, so make sure we get another unboxing. That'll be next week's video then. Lee unboxing that custom from eBay.
Yeah.
Great. Alhan, thank you so much for the detailed explanation. You're welcome. Roeth, just to clarify what Maury said, he's referring to Spanish cedar, not Western red cedar, typically used for tops. Thank you, Roeth.
Oh, yes, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. Roeth is the fact checker here, and we appreciate it. Let me see if I've got another one here. Oh, they're moving, look.
Wow.
Is there a difference between a cedar neck and a mahogany neck?
Not enough to say that you should. Quite honestly, some people really want mahogany because it's a little bit of an upcharge, and it's what they used to use most recently. But even before then, if you go back, before they were using mahogany necks, they were using cedar first. So it's one of those things that I always tell people, if perceived resale value is important to you, that if you think you might sell the guitar in a few years and the next buyer is going to use that against you, mahogany could be looked at as the better choice. But if you're buying the guitar to keep it or to really just want to know which one's literally better, if there is one, I would never say cedar and mahogany are different at all. It's just that next guy that's going to say, yeah, you have a 0018, but it's got a cedar neck, so knock this much money off of it. That's the only situation that's going to happen. But frankly, that's going to be real. So it depends what you're going to do with it later, honestly. Yeah,
the whole thing on the internet is mahogany is better, but I don't think anyone's done a test where they can show that is the case. Do you think visually you can tell the difference?
Yes, with an asterisk. I can't always, but somebody that's really, really good at looking at grain patterns can. And there's another little disclosure I'll give you. When it's cedar, it's almost always going to be a one-piece neck because they just have a lot of that. When it's mahogany, there's much more of a chance that you're going to get the wings. So ironically, if you get a cedar neck that's select hardwood, you're guaranteed to have a solid piece. It's that when the wings show up, that's in reverse order or reverse engineering. If you want to find out if you have a mahogany neck, if you have wings, you do have mahogany neck. So
as a soundhole sniffer, I'd always go for mahogany if I could, but if I played the two guitars and preferred the one that had the cedar neck, I would get that one because I don't believe it's going to affect the tone, and I think the tone is the most important thing. But yeah. Lee says that's the same guitar. Aha, okay. So you've been shopping on eBay. Alex said, I would go Alpine Moon Spruce with Walnut 0028 for my custom. Finger-picking sweetness.
Ooh.
Okay, nice. Unfortunately, Maury can't demo Lee's custom for us when it's ready. Oh, no, he didn't order it custom. He's bought it used, I think. So the good news is that Lee is going to demo the guitar, or Rosanna is going to demo the guitar on the next video. That leads us into viewers' comment. We'll get to that in 1 second. Ken says, yes, Spanish Cedar. And I hate, I'm so, you know, I love this, but I hate reading it out. I'm sorry. CGD GCD says, I don't know that armpit stains count as heavy relic. Can I abbreviate that in the future? Can I just call you C?
Get a guitar and play it. It's fun.
CGD GCD. So we're in the key of G, right? Can I just call you G? No, this is getting too complicated. S. Willis, I love the tone of the 0015 SM, and I'm trying to decide between that and the CEO 7. Both are sold out in my area. The 0015 SM and the CEO 7. If you like those V-necks, I'd always say the CEO 7. But yeah, are there still shortages then? When did you last get some new guitars in, Maury? They still coming through?
It's been about 3 weeks since we got anything brand new.
Wow,
and
that's a long time.
yeah, there still are shortages. It's a long answer, but we're getting some guitars earlier than we expected, and at the same time, we're seeing a lot of our back orders are being pushed into, early spring. So we're not going week to week without getting anything, but we're not seeing a consistent. There were probably a dozen guitars we were due in December, and now it's January, and I emailed them this morning. They're not ready yet. We have guitars that were due in March. We got 3 weeks ago, so it's still up in the air, and they're not caught up.
All right. Well, on that note, shall we go and watch Roeth's viewer's comment? He's going to play some Spoon Phillips for us. So get your popcorn ready, and this is Roeth. Thank you so much for sending this through, Roeth. We really appreciate you taking the time to do it, and enjoy this video. Very nice. That's my favorite Spoon Phillips song, actually. I keep meaning to learn that myself. And so I'm glad you did that, because now I've seen you play it, so I can use that. Spoon does have the tabs on his website, by the way, but I like to see the video as well. Yeah, it's great. I love that one. Very cool.
That's
What's that one?
Roeth.
What's that called? Riding to or back from Boston?
It's Boston, but I forget the direction. I think it's riding back from Boston.
Let us know in the chat, Roeth. But excellent, and thanks for doing that, because I always say every week I haven't got enough viewers' comments, and that's always true. Sounds like I'm begging, I know, but it's fine. If we don't get viewers' comments, we have lots of questions to talk about anyway. But if you do want to send something in, it can be a photograph, it can be you saying hi, you can play something. It doesn't have to be, complicated. Just play an open G chord. That's what I do. And you can send it to this address. Say hi at aaronshortmusic.com.
Nice job, bro.
Let me leave that up there for a bit more. Hang on. Okay. Old says, I watched somebody French polish a Martin on YouTube. Almost cried. Lee says, Old, I'm just praying it comes. I've had no contact from the seller. That's not good. So let us know. Yeah, let us know next week what happens with that. Ken says, mahogany is stronger than Spanish cedar. Is that right?
I won't say that I know for sure, but I've heard that.
Can we test it? Can you get 2 guitar necks and we'll break them?
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to do it? Old says, Lee, fingers crossed. Yeah, my fingers are crossed too. Oh, Roeth says, so that was a 0018V that Roeth was playing there. And he says it has wings.
Then it's mahogany neck. Sounds good to me.
That's the thing, isn't it? I don't know what you're recording with. I think you're just recording with your iPhone or something, Roeth, and it sounds great. So, yeah. I mean, that's a cosmetic thing. But I haven't seen a guitar with wings for a long time. Every time Maury shows us a guitar, they never have wings. I don't know if he's covering it up or if they don't do wings anymore.
No, but it really is very, very superficial. And ironically, the pieces of wood glued to that are as strong or stronger than a solid piece. It's nothing to sneeze at.
I know. And you never see it. I've never ever picked up the acoustic guitar, and stared at the back of the headstock like this. But I think I did sell a guitar once, and someone said, "Does it have wings on it?" It's like, oh, come on, seriously.
No.
Chris says, Spanish cedar is not the cedar we see growing here in the US. Spanish cedar is very similar to mahogany. Okay. Oh, here we go. Call me Gus. Thank you. Gus. Because David Belcher says CGD GCD is C sus 2 tuning. So I was going to call you sus and play this every time. As in suspense. Suspended. Okay, but Gus is better.
Ooh.
Gus. Robot. I have no context for that comment at all. Cedar has been used for necks forever in Spain. As long as it is reinforced with ebony or a truss rod, it's fine. Okay, so the authentic. Have you switched over to the authentic now? Without telling me? There we go. Yeah. See, I'm sharp today. That has a genuine mahogany neck, right? Because it's authentic.
Yes.
Okay. And it does not have a truss rod? I can't remember.
It's got a T-bar that's not adjustable.
Non-adjustable truss rod. That's right. So we're going to, last half of the show, we're going to talk about the authentics. So does anyone here own an authentic? So does anyone here own a Mon Deluxe or an authentic Martin? Let us know in the chat.
Does anybody want to?
Well, that's Maury's question. My question is, does anyone own one right now? Roeth says, thank you. A round of applause to Roeth. Yes, excellent playing. And Ken also has a 0018. A lot of people here have 0018Vs. Bemo's here. How you doing, Bemo? Happy New Year. Well done, Roeth, says David. Round of applause. Round of applause. Sounds great. Nicely done. Jim says, sweet Roeth, you're light years along compared to where I am. I only got the first part down. Yeah, he didn't tell us how long he's been working on it. So.
No.
Great playing, Roeth. Nice, Roeth. Great playing. Very nice playing. Roeth, you're making me think a custom 0018 with 0018V specs is the way to go. Great job. Mm-hmm. Well done, Roeth. Loved it. Beautiful playing. Round of applause and a heart. It's great. Roeth says, Ken, awesome. Seems like our 018 club here is quite large. You're taking over. You can't do this. What happened to the retro club? That just fizzled out. And the 018 club took over.
Too much mahogany.
I know. It's all mahogany. Matthew Carver, very nice playing. Roeth says, thank you, everybody. Okay, the song is called "Riding Off to Boston" because there's like two parts, right? There's two songs with similar names. So that one is "Riding Off to Boston." Yeah, that's my favorite. Alan says, "Happy New Year, everybody." Aaron, last night I stumbled on your video with Tommy Emmanuel. Just loved it. Thank you.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was probably the highlight of my life, playing with Tommy Emmanuel. Jim says, Roeth, do you have a YouTube video so I can study it? Yeah, I think it's on his YouTube channel. So, Roeth, put the link below. I guess you can also come back and watch this. There's some things like Chrome, you can get extensions where you can loop a video and it'll keep playing that part round and round. You can slow it down as well. And then you could see what it's doing. Yeah, that's useful. Bimo, French polish is an excellent finish for wood. Furniture wood. Yeah, I agree. Chris Smith says, where are the wings? Oh, so the wings will be on the back of the headstock. Yep. Now everyone's checking their guitars for wings. Good job, Maury. No wings on my 2004 0018V. Spanish cedar is slightly lighter than mahogany, says Trellerism. Old says mahogany is stronger and more durable over the life of the guitar, but cedar is lighter and more resonant. Always a trade-off. And then, okay, let's just take a second here. I want to hear that authentic, so then I'll come back to the chat. I want to hear it.
All right.
That sounds great. I always say I like the Addy over the mahogany. I told you last week I have one back home it's not home anymore, but back in the UK I have one which I recorded my album with, which is made by Goodall that I bought used in London years ago. So that's got a very powerful. I always thought it had a powerful, responsive tone. I always talk about the Outlaws. Always had a powerful, responsive tone, and this is similar, right? This is the Addy over the mahogany, but you've also got all those vintage things adding to the tone as well, like the long glued-in saddle. And this has been a good week because this is so different to the Modern Deluxe. The Modern Deluxe has a drop-in short saddle, right? This has a long glued-in saddle. They're similar, but this is the real traditional guitar, and it just has such a big sound. And that's what you want, right? You don't, when you think of a 1939 Martin, especially with all the aging and everything, that's what you think of, right? That big sound, and that's why I think they're really cool, and they're more accessible than the real thing, because the real thing is about 10 times more the price.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about the aging. I've asked the chat before, do you like the aging or not? And my question for Maury is the aging on these guitars different on all of them, or are they basically the same? Obviously not identical because it's done by hand, right? But do they age them all slightly differently, cosmetically, or do they kind of do the same thing on all of them, from what you've seen?
Yeah, it's not necessarily the same pattern, or you couldn't put two together and see that they've just repeated the formula. But they do aim to make all of them as aged as each other, but in different little ways. So I think it's Jeff Allen in the custom shop that's doing this, or at least used to be. And you might find specific marks on this guitar that don't match up with the other one, but we can both look at them side by side and say they're both 25% boogered up more than the regular clean one. So I don't think you're going to go shopping for an authentic aged and find one that's only been touched a little bit and one that's just been hammered. But in the places that one happened, I think you'll see that's where the variations will happen. And this guitar I don't play that often, but I'm not really, really comfortable on this neck, and that's why. But when I do, Aaron and I were talking in this meeting we have before the show that happens 5 minutes before anything starts. He mentioned bringing this one on camera, and I secretly smiled inside because it's been too long since I played it.
I mean, this is the closest you're going to get to. I hate saying the real thing, but I'm just going to say it anyway.
You're right.
This
isn't the real thing.
That's what they're recreating, right? But they're recreating it because if you do buy the real thing, you have to spend so much money now, and you never know, have they replaced the bridge? Are there any problems with it? That they can be a real headache, I imagine. But what you're getting here is basically a copy of that, but you're still getting the things that made the real thing so good, like the long saddle and the Addy top and all that stuff. It just sounds great. It's just that aging thing. I'm not sure about the aging thing. I think it's great because if you ding it, it doesn't matter. If Maury dings that right now on that microphone, no one will ever know. I have to say it's part of the aging process.
Well, this is the one guitar in this store where it's everything else we walk around put it on the stand really carefully, and it's no, you're right. But the other thing you mentioned about buying a real old one that's real, has it been humidified? Has it been taken care of? And that's not necessarily fair to say that it probably wasn't. But you buy something brand new with a warranty from a store that's aged and authentic. You get the warranty. You get you should get the satisfaction knowing that every store that Martin considers an authorized dealer does have humidification and that in mind. But it's a different purchasing situation for sure.
I mean, maybe those original ones, maybe they have dried out, maybe they have cracked, maybe that's what makes them sound. I don't know, but I'm not discounting them at all. But you've got to be in a pretty strong position to buy one, because the one that I really liked in Nashville when we went there was, you weren't with me that day. I wish you had been, but that guitar was $33,000. It's just so much money, and a lot of the parts have been replaced. I hate that. If you buy a vintage guitar and you find out half of it's been replaced, then you might as well have got this one and bought a house with the rest of the money. Maybe not a small house, No, I think it's great. I really like it. So the neck on that is not. So your personal guitar has a V-neck. So is that a V-neck, or is that neck even bigger than your guitar?
Well, this neck is bigger than my guitar. I don't really feel a V as much as it's more of a U.
Yeah. Just fat,
but
right?
It's just way more of a handful. This is, and somebody in the chat earlier asked for a close-up of this. I don't know if it's going to really come up on screen, but it's a big neck. It really
is. It glossy too?
It's a gloss big neck, and it's just uncomfortable to me. But that doesn't mean you wouldn't like it. It's going to be. I don't know. It's just something that really fills your hand, and not just the center of your hand because of the V. This has what we call fat shoulders. It's really
I know what I mean. You
put your hand near it and it's in your hand sooner. If I play my guitar and go this, it takes a lot longer for me to feel the neck than this thing does.
My personal thoughts on these guitars is I would never buy one to gig or use all the time, but for pulling out to record or play as my second. Which sounds ridiculous getting a guitar that expensive to play. Not all the time, but I think that's what I would do. If I had a 4-hour gig, I would take the guitar with the thin neck, right? Just for comfort. And a guitar like this, I would have more as. I mean, I don't want to come across as it'd be something I wouldn't use that often, but I just think it's so cool that is based around the specs of those old guitars, and they've made it look like one. And I really like it. And I remember I played, I think it was the D18 at the NAMM show when they released them. I remember that. It was years ago when it was Winter NAMM show I went to a few years ago, and I played it in the NAMM room, and it really impressed me. I remember thinking that sounds great. And then when we went to Summer NAMM, and they had that one there as well, and that sounded great. Now, I have played one. I did play one at another guitar store in Nashville, and I didn't think it sounded that great. But, you know, there we go. Maybe that was the room. Maybe that was the strings were dead. I can't imagine they sell these guitars every day, so maybe the strings go dead. They're not, you know, if they sit on the wall for a year. So that could be an issue as well. But this one just sounds great. And I think you've had this, haven't you had this since we started doing the live streams? This guitar?
I don't know if it's that old, but we've had it over a year.
Yeah. I'm surprised. I'm surprised you still got it because, like I said, it's probably the closest you can get without buying an actual authentic guitar, right? Which is such a huge investment. So I don't know. I want to know what people think in the chat of that. Give us your opinion. And then while you're doing that, here's a question from Bill. I heard Winter NAMM is moved to June. Yes, Bill. So NAMM is usually January in Anaheim and then June or July for Summer NAMM in Nashville. So this year, because of what's going on, they've moved the main NAMM to June, but not in Nashville. It's going to be in Anaheim. And that is also for less days. It's usually for like, is it 4 days? And it's going to be 2 or 3 days.
Usually 4.
So it's usually 4, right? And there's going to be 3, or is it 2? I can't remember. But anyway, it's not as long. It's in June. It's going to cause a few problems for me because I think I said last week that June is when the wedding season starts up. June will be more expensive to fly there. June will be more expensive to stay there because it's right next to Disney. It'll be hotter as well. But I still really want to go. You know? I think I'm leaning towards going because I want to see people that I know. I want to make some videos, and I'll take a better microphone this time. So I want to try to go, but that is a long way. It's a long way to go, and you know I always liked it in January, Maury, because it was so great to go somewhere warm. You know, from this cold to get somewhere warm, and it wasn't that busy because people weren't going to Disney as much in January. Yeah, I don't know. I'll try to, but hey, if not, then if
you're
not,
going. It's so funny that you're on the fence. You're gonna go.
Well, it's like a $2,000 trip. I mean, I could buy a third of that guitar, a quarter of that guitar. I don't know. We'll see. I feel like I need to go because I talk about gear, and that's where the gear is going to be. And that's where, most importantly, the people are going to be. And when you make those connections in person, they really help, like what I do here, because you go from just, you know, when you email someone you don't know and they just never reply to you. But if you meet them face to face, if they see you've made the effort to go all that way and you're trying to grow a channel and you're trying to grow a community, I think they're more likely to say, okay, we can, you know, send us some stuff. We can do something together. So that's, you know, I guess it's like, I'll call it a business trip, but we'll see. Who knows what's going to be happening in 6 months from now, right? So we'll see. But yes, it has moved, but they're still doing the virtual one-day event, which you can register for right now. It's free, where you can do like online sessions with companies. That's in a few weeks' time. And I think, I'm seeing new stuff getting released. Like I said already, the Cole Clark preamp and some Ibanez stuff. So I think there'll be lots of gear coming out. I think companies are going to change the way they do stuff. I think companies are just going to make their own videos. I mean, look what we can do now. If we were announcing a new product today and we can do it in this 4K quality, would we want to go to NAMM and spend 50 grand on a booth and hotels and flights? That is the question. And people will say, yes, you should do, because what I said, it's the connection. For me, NAMM is more about chatting with people face to face than it is the gear, right? And I think that's why they'll still do it. But people are saying like Fender might not do it anymore, because Fender are now, like, I was watching a YouTube video the other day and an ad came on for the Acoustasonic, like really nice ad. I'm like, wow, they put their money now into this advertising that they would have spent at NAMM last year. So we don't know. It could all change. But, I'll try to keep you up to date on the channel. Eric says, yes, that's the D18 Authentic Aged. So, okay, I asked you this before. I'll ask you again. Do you like the aging or not? Would you get the non-aged or the aged? Let me know. My go-to answer is I would get the non-aged because I can age it myself, and I do with my guitars. They do get dings and stuff. But the aged just gives it that thing, doesn't it? It's like the old guitar you find in the closet, which I think is cool. Ken says, my 2004 0018V has a genuine hog neck with no wings. Lucky you, Ken. Aroa says, I don't care. No, he didn't. He said, I do have a YouTube link, but I don't know how to share it. You just type your YouTube channel link in the chat, Roeth, and then they can click on it and subscribe to you. Great job. I had an OM28 Bond Deluxe, couldn't get used to the neck. There you go. But I know the OM28 Bond Deluxe neck is even different to the other Bond Deluxe guitars, and I haven't played the OM version, so I can't comment on that. But that's worth noting. Just because you don't like that neck, you might like the 18 neck or the 28 neck. Can I search YouTube? He's going to put the link, and if he doesn't, I'll do it later on in the description below. Chris Smith says, show your wings. No idea what wings looks like. Let me see if I can quickly find a picture here. Martin guitar wings. Talk about sandhole sniffing. Does your guitar have wings? Does your guitar have wings? Here's one from the unofficial Martin Guitar Forum. Okay, I'll throw this up on the screen quickly, so in case you don't know what we mean. So, okay, so if you look there, well, actually, that's not a good picture because they've just cut it off, haven't they? The guitar on the left, we see those darker areas. That's the wings. If it didn't have wings, yeah, on the right pictures, I think they've just cropped the picture. That's not right, is it? A guitar without wings would simply, you wouldn't see the edges the different color. It'd be one piece. So they've glued on those pieces to make it that shape. Yeah, I should have a better picture, but that's what it is. So.
And what's happening there is they don't have a piece big enough to make a guitar neck out of, but instead of throwing that piece of wood away, they just glued two pieces to the sides to make extra real estate to be able to put the tuners there. And it saves Martin from being very wasteful. And, you know, it wasn't that long ago we were talking about Robert Getzel's 00 Earth guitar. Martin is so conscious of the environment. Maybe some other manufacturers do find those thin pieces and unuse them and toss them. But I think it's very responsible and respectful of Martin to actually save it, in my opinion. That picture on the right looks so funny. Looks like
actually, I just figured out what's going on. The picture on the right isn't a guitar that doesn't have wings. The picture on the right is showing the piece of wood that they've then stuck those two wings to, isn't it? Is that right? Yeah. So the piece on the right is how it starts out. The one on the left is what it then looks like with the wings. And if you've got one without wings, you won't see those dark spots. You'll just see one piece all the same color. So that's how you identify it.
And it's important to note too, it's not that obvious in every single case. Sometimes the wings look so similar to the grain of the centerpiece of wood. It's not always that obvious. So
let me just get rid of that. I keep hitting the system audio here. Oh, there we go. That was wing. Yeah. So I never even knew about that until I read it on a forum years ago, and I can't say it's ever really bothered me that much. I always look to see if it does, but it's. Yeah, there's other things that would concern me more before wings on a guitar. And like Maury said, they're trying to get the most from the wood that they have. And that's the same reason why now you're seeing more and more guitars with the streaked ebony on the fingerboard. And I haven't seen that from Martin yet, but I think they use color to color them. But I'm sure eventually we will, because they just can't get enough wood. So
yeah,
I'm seeing that a lot now. Sometimes that looks really nice. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it's like every pattern, you know. Sometimes it looks really nice. Sometimes it doesn't. But, yeah, wood is obviously not easy to get these days. Ken says Martin has been using Spanish cedar on older guitars that use gut strings because strength wasn't an issue. Okay. Roeth says, actually, this one is riding back from Boston. Okay, it's slower and more somber than riding off to Boston, which is faster with a capo on the 4th fret. So riding off is 4th fret capo, and riding back is slower. Thank you for clarifying that. Thanks to Spoon Phillips for choosing song names that are so confusing. Right now it's unlisted. I can make it public. Yeah, make it public. And send us the link on the chat. Please do. My YouTube channel is public. And feel free, if you've got YouTube channels, feel free to put your channels in the chat and then we can all check them out and subscribe if we like what we see.
Could I put mine there?
No. No, don't put yours there. Alex says French polish is what makes classical guitars cost €1,000 more by itself, and it is the best in terms of letting the top vibrate freely. No comparison to anything else, really. And Old says that sounds amazing. Yeah, I really like the sound of this guitar. No one's talking about the aging yet. Let's see if we got any of those comments. Chris Smith says the edges of the headstock on the back of the neck appear to be different color or grain direction. Yeah, that's right. Hopefully you saw that in the picture. Hard to see. Well, maybe not on all guitars. Like Maury said, some guitars it's easier to see than others, right? But I guess Roth is talking about his own guitar. Christmas says, I've got a Sweetwater 28D HD28 with Addy top on order with mod V-neck and select hardwood. That's why I'm curious about the wings. Question answered. Thank you. Yeah, that's just a Martin thing. They just say select hardwood because they don't want to... I mean, I guess it's also a time thing and everything, right? For them to go through every guitar they make and write down exactly what it is. So they just use the phrase select hardwood. I wouldn't think about it too much. Ken says the authentic sounds authentic. Awesome. Now, I've not actually heard, this is crazy because I've not really heard many authentic Martins myself. That's something I want to do in the future. Go out and play vintage Martins. That's something I plan to do at some point. It just sounds really good. You know, it just sounds big and I like that. Zane says, hi, glad your thumb is better, Maury. And everyone, regards from England, UK. The thumb is healed.
Thank you.
May I ask, what is the latest news with Martin Surprise, please? Well, Maury can't talk about it because he's a dealer, and I'm going to talk about it on Wednesday's Gear Chat. So just join me on Wednesday, and I'll talk about it. And then Maury will talk about it when he's allowed to, and I'm sure he's got lots of information that we don't know about, which I'm excited for.
I hope I do.
Do they age the tuners as well? You know, I want to say what I like about these aged guitars, including Stratocasters, is that they don't ding up the neck, right? The necks are always, as far as I know, these ones, the necks are always perfectly smooth and fine and not like dinged up like sometimes the old guitars are. Sometimes those old guitars have got so many dings in the back of the neck and you feel it and it's horrible. But on these guitars, they don't touch that because that's where you're going to be playing, but the rest of the body and everything is aged. Am I right, Maury? I'm worried that I'm wrong now. Is that neck ding free?
It's ding free. There's a little bit of a wear mark where the fingerboard meets the neck here that you don't feel. But no, the neck's free of dings. But the tuners are relic. They're not they're ugly.
Yeah. If they want realistic wear and aging, why don't they go further and bulge the top and unstraighten the neck so you're close to needing a neck reset? That's the thing. That's the other thing with buying the authentic, the old ones. But do bear that in mind. These do not have an adjustable truss rod. These have a glued-in saddle. If you want to change the action, you're going to have to get that saddle out and maybe do a neck reset. So these aren't all these aren't the be and end all in any way, but they are authentic. And I presume, Maury, that these ones they take extra care with and make sure they do play well, but for that reason, right? Like you can't go in there and just change it.
That is true, and don't forget the T-bar is so solid. It's the whole joke that it's never going to move, so you don't have to worry about it. But if it moves, you're in trouble. But it's never going to move. Right. But if it does, you're in trouble. But it's never going to move, and it's that circle. It's so stable. It should not be something to worry about. Yet, if there's somebody, and this is really a painting with a broad brush when I say this, there's the D18 Standard Series. There's the authentic, and the modern deluxe really does get you about halfway there on purpose. If you want some of the things that make an authentic sound great, but you still want the adjustable truss rod, that's where the modern deluxe really seats in the lineup, by design.
Yeah, it's just interesting. So are those guitars made in the custom shop or on the factory floor?
The authentics are in the custom shop, yeah.
Oh, really? So they're custom. Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, it's funny. This with the Rain Song guitars, it's the same. When they first made them, they had no truss rod. You don't need it, right? The Rain Song, as long as they make it correct, they don't need a truss rod. They're never going to move at all. They're carbon fiber. There's no wood. Right. There's no moisture. But they had so many, I think this is right, I think they told me they had so many people say they want a truss rod that they put one in there. But of course, you never use it. You never use it because you get the guitar, and as long as they set it up right, you might lower the saddle slightly. I think on one of mine I did put a little bit of relief in it, but the truth is, like, you don't need it, but people think they need it. And I think that's the same with these guitars. Like, you think you need it, but as long as you get one that plays right out of the box, I don't think it's going to move anywhere, and I think you'll be fine.
That's a good point.
So it'd be really, I'd love to ask the people that make these, like, those kind of questions, you know, like, do you go the extra mile with these for that reason? Because you can't easily move things around. But they must do. And if they don't, just make sure you get one from a, like Maury with a return policy, so you actually play it and make sure it's right for you.
Yeah.
T says, I've got a 00 as well, an L00, a Gibson. Hope I'm not barred. No, I have a Gibson too, T. It's all good. I have a Gibson too. It's allowed. Roeth says, Olds W30 is laughing. Gorgeous back. I know it's the back too. Can you spin that one around?
Sure.
And what kind of wood is that?
This is genuine mahogany.
That is a nice piece. Old says the back is gorgeous. Yep, I agree. Mark Henry works for Maury's Music. He says, the images tab at Maury's Music shows detailed images of this instrument.
Thank you. Thank you. You have no idea how many people call us daily. Hey, can you send me some pictures of that one guitar you're selling? I'm like, it's already there. Just look on the images tab. Thank you, Mark.
Oh, Jim says, hey, Aaron, that is what Patreon is for, raising dollars for your YouTube gig. Yeah, I got some thoughts about that. There's YouTube memberships and Patreon, and then there's just the regular donations. I have Buy Me a Coffee donations, and I also have Super Chats. So I will say this: if you do Super Chat me, or if I do set up a Patreon, which I may well do, actually, for that'd be a good reason to do it for, because I always put that money back into the channel. Of course, I got to pay for the software and the internet and all that stuff, and the cameras I got last year. But that could be a good idea, Jim. Maybe I'll do that. Perhaps I'll start a Patreon to do the NAMM trip. That could be a cool idea. We'll see. Okay, welcome. For fingerpicking, what backwood would you pick? Rosewood versus mahogany, and why? On the flip side, what top would you pick? Engelmann versus Addy versus Sitka. This is like all the woods available from Martin here. We've got to answer to. But I know Maury and I both like rosewood. Let's ask Maury this one then, because you're the Martin dealer. So someone calls you up. I want to do finger picking. What back and sides and top should I be looking at? It's really difficult to answer in 1 minute, but we'll see how you do.
Well, and I'm not just trying to impress you guys with this answer, but I would ask for more information. There are so many different. You hear how lively this guitar is? It's actually ringing with me talking. I have to hold the strings. Hey, the finger style can be like really delicate El McMean, where in my mind, like you're playing the notes and you pick the first one, then the second one, and the third one, but the first one's still ringing. There's that really luscious finger style. There's the really dry, deliberate, old bluesy style that might sound very, you want to have just note, and everything's just, nothing falls over each other. So finger style is too broad of a term for me to answer without asking more questions. But I like rosewood and Sitka. I love rosewood and Adirondack. And it's going to depend, ironically, more on your personal tastes than you saying the word finger style, because I think if you would come to me on the phone and talk about that and go into more detail, we can arrive at something that I think would make sense, and I would recommend it, the woods based on your conversation, and that wouldn't even really be literally tied to the fact that we started saying finger style. That would also equate to strumming. So I don't know that there's a quick answer, but I would definitely say rosewood for the back.
True. Finger picking can be, you might use a thumb pick, right? You might use flesh, you might use a thumb pick, you might play ragtime, you might play ballads, we don't know. Your question, I was just laughing because your question is basically like what this whole channel and this show is about, like trying to figure out all the different things. So what I would say is go back and watch our videos where we've demoed different, or Maury's demoed different guitars of different woods. listen to people you like and recordings you like and figure out what they are, because there isn't really a right answer. Like I always think to myself, the go-to would just get like an OM28. You got the Rosewood and the Sitka, you can't really go wrong. But then you might like the Engelmann, you might like the mahogany, and for those ones you really got to do some listening and maybe even some playing on those instruments to know. There's not really there's not a definite answer, and that's why we meet here every week to talk this through and get everyone's chat on the screen, because we get their experience as well. I mean the fingerstyle on this guitar sounded fantastic, right? But then again, this also has VTS. This also has other things about it that may be adding to the tone. So I would start with that. Like, I'm a big fan of like Tommy Emmanuel, so that's why I have a Maton, because I like his tone on stage. But then again, of course, he sounds like Tommy Emmanuel on any instrument because he's great. So bear that in mind as well. It's the player as well. But yeah, there's not really. I mean, to put it to the chat, like Roeth loves his 0018 mahogany guitar. He does it pretty much exclusively fingerstyle. So I think I can see why people go that way. I mainly strum. I think that's why I like the Rosewood. So maybe something like a 0018 or a 0018. Yeah, I would say go back and watch some of our other videos on those guitars. And Maury always strums and finger picks. And then let us know next week when you got some more thoughts on that. But I guess the question is, to be fair, what would you pick? Well, I have Rosewood with Sitka and Rosewood with Engelmann, and Maury has Rosewood with Sitka, right? Yeah. So that's what we would pick. But yeah. Chris Smith says, non-aged, I don't buy jeans with holes in them either. Now, neither do I, and I think it's absolutely ridiculous that I try to keep my stuff in mint condition, and then I look at guitars that are artificially aged. But there is something about it. When you recreate a guitar from that long ago, it just seems to make sense, doesn't it? That it is kind of aged, because it wouldn't make sense if it was like brand new. I mean, sometimes you see people online with these old guitars that look brand new. Yeah. But it just, I don't know. I really have mixed thoughts about the whole age versus non-age. It'd be good to compare the two. It'd be good to have one that's aged and one that's not aged and see. Did we ever do that video? I don't think we did, right? Be good to see if the aging actually affects the tone, or is it more cosmetic. I think it gives it a vibe. I think it's like virtual reality or something. It's like you're playing the guitar, you look down, you think, yeah, this is an old Martin, and it just sounds better in your head. And I think there's something to be said for that,
If there was like a D18 2019 aged, it could look clean, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, with Fender, I prefer the Closet Classic, the ones that are slightly like, they've just got a bit of fade to the finish and stuff. But then again, my guitars get that after kind of, 6 months anyway. Because I don't know. I just don't know. I see benefits to both. I think the fact that the aged one is more money is a downside for me. But I do think it adds some vibe to it. Urban Woods, the new thing. It is lucky to have an aged one. Not sure how long my life to see my guitar age. Yeah, but I think the age thing for a lot of people is more about the sound, the tone of it breaking in, which I do think is a real thing. But visually, like I said, I don't know. I get really distraught when I find a ding on the guitar. And yet then you find yourself looking at guitars that have been dinged by the place you're buying it from. It doesn't. None of it makes any sense. Chris said, didn't discover Maury until after my Sweetwater was in. That's okay. You can get your next guitar from Maury if you want to.
You did fine. That's a good store.
That's a good model he got too, because it's kind of like a custom one. Oles W30 says, always thought my 2008 28 sounded richer than my OM28 Bond Deluxe with VTS. Something actually, yeah, I do think there's something. I've told you that before. Like, there's a couple of guitars I've had that are like 10 years old, not played very much, and just sounded really, really good every time. Sometimes brand new can sound a bit tight, but then you just got to play it more or get a tone right. Tone right might make an appearance this year. I suppose aged has a positive connotation, sounded top, while relic is related to cracked, lacquer, and ding tuners. Yeah, I guess this is relics. They just don't want to use that word because Fender use it, I presume. Right? But it is aged in that it's got the VTS. But then so is the Mon Deluxe, right?
Yeah, because they make a D18 authentic 1939 without the word aged, and that also has the VTS. So I think they're using the word aged to mean scratched.
Visually, yeah. Good point from Ken. Is this true? If the neck moves on the authentic, Martin warranty should cover it. So buy a new one, would they?
I think if you need to do something to your authentic because the neck became problematic, I would certainly think that's covered, yeah.
I had a problem in the past, and I called Martin, and they said about we won't. It might have been when my guitar cracked years ago, and they said we won't cover that because that's humidity. So I wonder if that neck moved. If the first thing they would say is, "Well, you didn't humidify it. It shouldn't have moved if you kept it humidified." I know that's something that they would have to answer, right? But on the flip side, I think if you did keep it humidified, and I think if you had one of those, you would look after it, then I think you'll be fine. Because like Maury said, it's not really going to move anywhere because it's a T-bar. I don't know. I'll buy, Maury, I'll buy one, and then everyone tune in 10 years' time, and I'll let you know my experience with that. I get concerned with non-adjustable truss rods with the cold Canadian winters. That's a good point. Depends where you live. Then again, keep it in the hard shell case. Keep it with those humidipacks. I don't know. Zane says, I wish I had a time machine so I can hear my guitar what will sound like in 20 years. Yeah, me too. I'm just thinking now, I don't often get the truss rod out and adjust the neck on my guitars. They're pretty stable considering the climate and everything.
Yeah, but you can if you have to. That's a good feeling.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Because Tommy Emmanuel says he's always adjusting it, but he really knows what he needs, and he's always flying around the world, right? So I can kind of understand that. But I think if you live somewhere where it's not drastic, if you have constant temperature, even like where I am here when it gets colder, but as long as it's in the hard shell case and humidifying it, I think it'll be all right. I do. But like I said, that'd be a good video. Does Martin ever VTS the back and sides or only the top?
I don't think I've ever heard of them doing the back and sides, no.
Yeah, me neither. Real old school luthiers who build classicals would throw you out of their shop if you ask for a truss rod. There you go. They say it's built correctly, the neck should never need a jump. Great. There you go. That's what I'm saying. As long as you get one where you feel the action is set up great for you. Okay, one question then. So that's got 13s on it, right? What would happen if you put 12s on it? Would that cause a potential issue? Would you advise keeping that with 13s all the time?
I would, because 12s are going to be pulling less tension. So the guitar is built. This guitar is built to expect that the 13 strings are going to pull the neck in this direction this much. And if you put 12s on, they're going to pull less. So there's going to be the opportunity that the neck will want to, the neck's pulling against the strings all the time. So the way they set this up, this neck and these strings, the fight is equal.
Yeah,
if you put 11s or 12s, you're going to have the neck wins the battle, and not necessarily to a degree that you might be bothered by it, but very possibly. Yeah.
I think it'd be, I think that guitar should have 13s anyway. I'm not like people online that say Martin Dreadnought should only have 13s. That's fine if that's how you feel. All my guitars have 12s, but I feel like that guitar will shine even more with the 13s. And I'm sure that's what they had back then.
With these 13s and this neck, I don't want to play it all the time, but playing it in the short span we have today, it's really fun.
Yeah. Roth says, my classical has a Spanish cedar neck with no truss rod, but it's reinforced with a strip of ebony. Alex says alpine spruce and walnut for finger picking. That's interesting. I haven't even tried that.
Oh, nice.
Zane says, at the end of the day, it's a personal preference. Well, all this stuff is personal preference, Zane. All of it. And that's why I'm glad you're all here just to share your preferences in the chat. Alex says, I don't mean the suggestion for time manual fingerstyle, but for lyrical finger picking like Nick Drake. Oh, Nick Drake. I haven't thought about him for a while. I wonder what guitar he played. Doesn't the Authentic have a slightly thinner top? Now, sometimes Martins in the custom shop will have that top even thinner, so it resonates more. Does the Authentic have a thinner top? Do you know?
I don't know that, but now that you say the word thinner, and I'm remembering, I think the Authentic Aged might have a slightly thinner finish. And I wish I knew that for a fact right now. That you got to watch for that. But
Tommy Emmanuel, his guitar is so aged. He ages it himself. He has to deal with maintenance, right? So he gets a piece of sandpaper, sands off an area on the guitar so he can scratch it. Yeah, he does that because he can, because he's like, in partnership with them. He did an interview recently where he said he also has Martins and Gibsons at home in cases that he doesn't ding up. So he does both. He has a guitar for different reasons, which I think is a great way to go as well. Eric says the aged finish does give it better tone. I have a 2021 version of the authentic 1939 aged. Awesome. Congrats. So you've got that guitar. That's great. More and more classical guitars are built with truss rods, but yes, 2 of my 3 only have the ebony strip. I didn't know that. That's really interesting. The ebony strip to reinforce it. Aging does affect the tone. Rosanna's tone gets much harsher as she gets older. Or is it I buy more guitar? Moving on. Will Martin have an app in the future to monitor humidity like Taylor Sensor app? Yeah, Taylor have an app now with a Bluetooth thing built into your guitar, like the thing you sell, Maury, but monitors humidity. Taylor have it built into the guitar, which is cool. Wow. For me, it's like another thing that could go wrong, but it is cool because it's actually in the guitar and not in the case of the guitar. Now, I don't personally think Martin will do that. I kind of wish Martin would do more things with, modern pickups and apps and all this kind of technology. But I think they're sticking to their kind of traditional thing. Who knows? I mean, the SC13E is certainly more modern. It'd be great to see something like that with an app to do those things. Maybe some other things as well. But a lot of companies have also told me they don't like apps because they have to keep them updated to work on the next operating system of iOS and all this stuff. It's a real headache. So I don't know. I think I would like to see that. I just saw a review of a carbon guitar with a touchscreen built into the side of it, which is
really
insane. Yeah, I mean, I commend it, but I think Martin buyers are looking for the traditional, that's why they make guitars like this. It's all about personal preference. I'd rather have a real aged guitar with a real history. Well, me too, but I need to borrow 30 grand off you, Rosanna. It's been loved, played, and has an authentic character rather than going through the factory process. Yeah, I totally agree. That you get the history and the stories of that real thing, but it's just so much money to spend on it. Jim says, what happens with a non-truss rod guitar with alternate tunings? You got an answer for that? Can you do alternate tunings, or does it? That should be fine,
it's
right?
A non-truss rod, I don't know. If you're talking about non-adjustable T-bar, it's really, really sturdy and steady, so it shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah.
I could.
As long as you don't go into really weird tunings, it should be fine. Yeah.
It should be okay for that too.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, we're going to wrap up now, so no more questions, please. I've got a few more questions here. Old says, anyone know if VTS age tops further age? So they age the tops. Do they then age even more? I assume they must do, right? They don't just stop aging.
That's a pretty popular question. When they first came out with VTS, I think Todd and I were asking those guys at Martin. I think it's diminished returns. I think it always will continue, but most of the damage has been done. I don't think it's going to change a lot, but I don't know for sure.
Alex says, call me old-fashioned. I hate the notion that the world's problems will be solved by apps. I agree. I love my iPhone and my Apple computer. I absolutely adore them, and I love my music gear, and I try to bring them together. Like I talk about electric guitar pedals and loopers sometimes. I do love that idea, but for me, when I sit and play the guitar, I like to get away from the computer stuff as well. But there are times when they do complement each other as well. So, yeah, I think adding these gadgets and gizmos and apps to guitars can be a potential issue, and it can be a good thing. So I don't know. I don't know I think one day it's going to happen. I've heard Fred Green on a podcast say, he says, my daughter asked me why I'm plugging a cable into my guitar when I plug it in, because everything's wireless now. So I think people like Fred Green are looking that way. I think we're going to see it, but I just think they got to be very careful, because you could do something like Gibson did with the robot tuners, where it just completely flops and everyone hates it, right? Actually, I had one of those guitars. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't any better than just tuning it by yourself. So just way too ahead of its time. Nick Drake played a small-bodied Guild 00L size, with deadest strings, yeah. So just quickly, we're calling it a day. It was a really interesting show. I had no idea to compare these two, but I'm glad we did. And just do me a favor, will you jump over to my other video when we're done here and put some headphones on and listen to my comparison of the Martin, the Maiden, and the Rain Song. And Maury's going to do this as well, so this will be fun to see if Maury can get it. And I want to know which one is the carbon fiber guitar, so which one is not wood, and the order of preference. So people are putting like if A is their favorite, they'll type A. If C is the next favorite, then C, and then B. So A, C, B. So A is their favorite, and B is their least favorite. And then which one do you think is carbon fiber? So go and do that for me. I'm going to make a video about that at the end of the week to give the results. And then next week, I'm going to call out names on the show of who got it right and who got it wrong. I won't be too mean about it. Don't worry. Great. So thanks for watching. Zane and Olds wants an app that plays bar chords. Yeah, don't we all? Ken says, nice chat, guys. Very informative. And Lee wants that app as well. Maury, thanks for joining me. These two guitars he showed are available right now at Maury's Music. So let him know if you're interested, if you're in the USA, of course. And make sure you subscribe to both Aaron Short Music and Maury's Music. Ring the bell so you're notified of when we have videos or go live. And Maury, just quickly, what's your schedule for the week to remind people?
Well, this has been great being here again, and thank you for your time too, Aaron. Tomorrow is the podcast, Maury's Music Podcast. Wednesday, a virtual tour. Thursday, Martin versus Martin. And Friday, I might take the day off. I'm tired.
All right, so exciting stuff to come. So stay tuned. And Maury, can you play us out on the Authentic? Because that's my favorite.
My pleasure. Thanks for watching, guys.
Yeah. Happy New Year, and we'll see you again very soon.